Hi, I'm Mercedes and thanks for joining me again today for another recycling project. Well, on today's segment, we're actually going to take our tie-dye scraps and we're going to recycle them into a tie-dye quilted backpack. Now, if you're just joining us, please visit www.m721organics.com and please get the free download of the patterns that we discussed in our previous segment. Well, if you're joining us to do our construction, here it comes. Actually, we're going to be using our paper pattern to demonstrate some of our sewing tips while we're using this semi-constructed backpack, okay? Now, the first thing that we're going to do is that we're actually going to construct the tunnel. Now, if you remember, I had asked you to notch 1 inch from one side to the next side, and here it is. If you can notice in this finished tunnel here, we actually already have the drawstring running through. Well, I'm actually just going to use the paper pattern to demonstrate. What you're going to do is fold this over, and your notches are going to be sitting at the top. Now, you can definitely use a decorative stitch, whatever it is that you decide. Remember, you're the star of your show. And please always keep in mind that we definitely need to have an opening here. And the reason for that being is that we definitely have to run our drawstring through. Now, if you don't like raw edges, you could definitely do a very soft cover stitch or some type of decorative stitch in order to close this off. But remember, always keep that opening. Now, if you are going to be lining your backpack, it is very, very important to have your lining available. Prior to actually top stitching your tunnel, you would have to have your lining with your back panel and also your lining with your quilted pattern. Remember, this is not a traditional quilted project. There is no cotton sashing or any adhesive backing. This is just a soft recycling backpack project, okay? So moving forward. Now, once we've done the tunnel, we're getting ready to construct our drawstring and also our backpack. Now, I would strongly suggest that you lay your front and back panel together because we want to make sure that we don't have any excess fabric overlapping. The reason for that being is that depending what size squares you actually did your quilting, sometimes if we actually take a little bit less of seam allowance or a little bit more, we may have some overlapping fabric when we try to sew our bottom hem. Now, some crafters really like to stitch their side seams first with the inserts of their drawstring, but I'm from that school of thought that I like to pin everything, and I'm actually going to use this constructed backpack as the model. I actually like to try things on during its pinning stage. This one's already constructed, but this is important because if you are going to be using your backpack with a heavy sweater, a denim jacket, or possibly some fleece jackets, you can definitely add inches to that drawstring. Remember, our old pattern was 48 inches in length for each drawstring. Don't be afraid to add to it, okay? So now once that's done, I'm not sure if you've ever had a frustrating or challenging time running drawstring through your tunnel. I actually learned this from my mom. Well, you're actually going to take a safety pin. I know it's not a tool, but you can definitely recycle it into your new sewing and crafting tools, okay? You're going to take your safety pin, attach it to your drawstring, and use that as your tool to actually run your drawstring through. It's as easy as can be. I've always been the type that I try to do things so perfectly to whatever the instructions are, and I end up having a little bit of a frustrating time. And my mom's from that school where she always has like a quick tip and an easy way to do it, and actually her way is actually a little bit better because then you actually enjoy your project a little bit faster and you're out the door and on to the next project. Now, don't forget to remove that safety pin. We don't want to ruin your sewing machine. Now, once we're done with that, always remember to keep your drawstrings on the inside when the wrong side of your panels are facing you. You're going to measure 3 inches from the bottom hem to the top. I'm actually eyeing it because we want to make sure that the two sides actually are at the same point. Again, pin everything up and definitely try it on and make sure that everything is pinned correctly. Believe me, this project is so fast, we're just about finished. Now, I'm actually pinning this while I'm speaking to you, and the reason for that being is that I want to show you that it's okay to have a little bit of an excess tab here for your drawstring. It's okay. This will actually serve as a guide. You'll be able to measure the 2 points to make sure that your drawstrings are lined up correctly. And the only thing that you're going to do is then sew your side seams. That's it. Your backpack is constructed. Now always remember, since we are working with some scraps, take the time to map out your quilt. By mapping, all I'm referring to is that you're actually going to take some pieces, and prior to stitching anything, just see how you want to color coordinate your backpack. I'm hoping that you can actually see the semi-constructed one. I ran out of fabric, so what I did is that I did a reverse stitch applique with some cutaway. I actually took that mini pattern that we did in our previous segment. I did a mini box quilt insert. We did some puckering with another applique, and then our other box quilt is also mixed and matched seams. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Remember, this backpack is also adjustable, so please have fun with this, and I really hope to see you again for some more recycling projects. Please remember to continue to recycle, continue to reinvent, and continue to recreate you, because you're worth it. And please follow us on Twitter for some very quick updates on some articles, and also join us on Facebook. I would definitely love to hear some of your comments. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope to see you again very soon. Take care.